Check, check. Charles gave the community an earful right after I published my video the other day. So we got to listen to it. You know Charles, bro. So stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into this one. Following up from my video about the USDC drama, some of the people in the Cardano community wanted USDC on the Cardano ecosystem. Charles says, I think not. So let's take a listen.
Sunny, sometimes Colorado. Today is February 12th, 2024. Hard to believe that we're already a month down, halfway through the next one for 2024. It has been a long and interesting year, and we're just getting started. So I want to make a video talk a little bit about where the industry as a whole is going and some of the existential concerns that I don't think rank and file mainstream cryptocurrency people fully appreciate or understand. And it's really a turning point in the industry. So it's a very important video from that respect. So recently I was on several different podcasts and I made the point that algorithmic stablecoins are an essential thing that we need to, as an industry, look into, and that asset-backed stablecoins are a little problematic. So I got an interesting graph for you guys. Let me show you a little something here. Wow. Okay, so this comes from PowerPoint that's produced internally, but I wanted to share it because I really, really like this data from Coinmetrics and Ethereum. So anyway, stables represent about 10% by value of the crypto market cap, of which USDT and the USDC are the overwhelming majority of those things. Okay, but they dominate the on-chain transaction volume, about 70% of all transaction volume. So
across many large chains, that's why people like them, because they bring in volume. But let's let Charles cook.
So from a crypto perspective, ETH and Bitcoin take a backseat to USDC and USDT. These are, by volume, the value transfer mechanisms of our industry. They represent the huge majority of on-chain traffic and value transfer in our industry. Now, there's something about these two guys, USDT and USDC. They are asset-backed. Very important term, asset-backed, which means that there are two properties you can't get away from. One property is that there's a central issuer. There is a company who is regulated in a jurisdiction, subject to that jurisdiction's rules and regulations, and whatever that jurisdiction wants to put upon that company, permissive or otherwise, they are subject to it and cannot get out of it. They're a business like a bank or anything else responding to that regulation. And I'm not diminishing or saying they're bad actors and that they're evil people or something. I'm just saying that they exist within a jurisdiction. They're subject to regulation. Crypto does not. Crypto is a global asset. The people who hold it are subject to their local regulations. So if you're in Estonia, you're subject to that. If you are in South America and Argentina, you're subject to whatever it is there. And of course, the United States, you're subject to that. And if you do business with a US person, then suddenly you're now under US jurisdiction. But Bitcoin as a protocol doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I follow the US law. A stable coin that is asset-backed does. There's no way to get
You see the difference there? He just broke it down. USDC and Tether and all these ones, they are asset-backed, which means at some point there's some level of centralization there, and they're relying on these real-world banks, which makes them subject to regulations and whatnot. Whereas algorithmic stablecoins, a little bit different. You know, an algorithm runs them, but people's biggest worry with algorithmic stablecoins is Luna. But let them cook
around that. And the top two basically have to follow, for the most part, what the US government says. Even if they're running away from it a little bit, like Tether, they still, at the end of the day, they can't push too far in one direction. So that's the first set of problems with asset-backed stablecoins. The second set is they can't go fractional. And that's a good thing. But with a hard fork, let's say there's Bitcoin splitting and there's Bitcoin A or Bitcoin B, or more pertinent to this example, Ethereum splitting, Ethereum A, Ethereum B. You can't have a situation where the stablecoin issuer says, you know what? I'm going to let my stablecoin be on both sides and we'll just let it ride. Why? Because doubling the supply means that they're only backed by 50 cents to the dollar. They have to pick a winner. They either pick A or they pick B. A or B.
Yeah, I see the pulsechain fork, how Richard forked Ethereum, and all of them stables that moves over there. The ones on Ethereum held the value, but the DAIs and everything else, all those other stable coins that he forked on pulsechain, Tether's still there. I mean, USDC and everything else is still there, but the value proposition is a bit different. So I think that's where Charles is cooking here, where he's saying, like, should the chain split one day, right? Where's the stable coin gonna go? If it's asset backed, it's gonna be worth $1 on the original chain, and then on the split chain it's gonna be worth 50 cents, and that's gonna be problematic. People are gonna have liquidity problems.
B, but not both. They can't pick both by design. If 70% of all your transactions, all your value transfer is occurring at that stablecoin level, and your entire DeFi economy relies on that, you can't be the chain that suddenly loses USDC or Tether. You have to be the other chain. So what if they split and one says we're going to put KYC into the whole system, and the stablecoins support that split, and the other side, well, they just lost their stablecoin. Means they lost all their liquidity. They lost all their DeFi backbone. What do? That property forces them to pick a winner. You have now implicitly given to the stablecoin issuer, the asset-backed stablecoin issuer, that power. A small group of people you've never met, you have no relationship with, you didn't elect them, they have nothing to do with your underlying asset. They have that power, that authority now. And that's incumbent in the design. Now, the only coin that is not subject to these issues are algorithmic stablecoins, because they take a crypto asset and make another crypto asset, and the algorithms, the custody, all these things are moderated on chain, which is why I say again and again and again that the only thing that's value compatible with cryptocurrency is algorithmic stablecoins, not asset-backed. Unless
I think this is the reason why we haven't seen a large stable coin in the Cardano ecosystem. Like Charles I think he's a first principle guy, so he's pushing that decentralization agenda. He likes it. Even Cardano, you can see his excitement. Those of us who was here, the OGs, soon as Byron stage, we went from Byron to Shelley in May of 2020 or something to that nature, and then from there, delegated proof of stake, all of that stuff was going on, and he was always updating people, hey, Cardano is now 50% decentralized, 72% decentralized. So he's pushing that decentralization aspect. With that being said, he's just trying to protect his chain, and I can hear his argument here. This is dope, man. We're not looking at this from this angle, because most of crypto is just, hey man, number go up, pump the coin, bring the volume. That's how we think. But he's looking at it from a different angle. He's saying, yo, be careful with these asset-backed stable coins, because if liquidity dries up from there, your whole chain could have tremendous problems. I think that's why he's keeping them away, and a lot of those are also VC backed and all this other stuff. That's what he's talking about here. At some point, I think DJED was supposed to be some Cardano stablecoin that is run with algorithm. That's the first stablecoin that I've seen Charles kind of give the positive green go, because they algorithmic. I don't think they were asset backed or none of that. But I don't know what's going on with DJED, bro. What's going on with the project. They were supposed to be launching, they did, or something happened with DJED, but yeah.
You have crypto assets backing other things, and your blockchain is the custodian. Okay, but only an algorithmic coin has that property. Now, you have some notion of ownership, and of course the users can vote chain A or chain B for that honoring, but an individual doesn't get, or a corporation doesn't get carte blanche to decide which side of the equation to be on. Now, I mentioned this, and now let's go to The clapping idiot seals. Cryptocurrency Reddit. Algorithmic stablecoins are most suitable for the crypto industry. Charles Hoskinson. They say Luna says otherwise.
Yeah, they be cooking Charles in Reddit, bro. They frying him up. He doesn't like Reddit at all. There's a lot of trolls on Reddit, though.
Wish he kept his mouth shut. And I do hold ADA. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. ADA holder here, but Cardano is one of the worst blockchains in terms of stable coins. Look at how stupid he is. Jed is a failure. You're all failures. All right, yeah. He's a charlatan. All these things. So what's this telling you? It's telling you the zeitgeist of the thought process people have. Have they actually thought about the danger of algorithmic stablecoin, asset-backed stablecoins in comparison to value-compatible algorithmic stablecoins? No, because the thing they care about, the only thing they care about, is this right here. The vast majority of people. Number go up, and boy, number been going up. We're up 18%, 16%. Look at the list. Most of the top 10 are doing pretty well. Okay. Number go up. That's the only thing that matters.
Who came up with the term number go up? I think it was Richard Hart, bro. 10,000x, 2 years or less, 623 days, number go up. That's Richard Hart's term. So I think, I don't know. He's the only guy I've been hearing say stuff like that. But yeah, that's crazy.
To the people here. So they don't stop for a moment and understand the existential risk. By the way, it's the exact same problem here. If you look at 10 billion AUM for Bitcoin ETFs amongst BlackRock and Fidelity and these other Bitcoin trusts, well, what does that translate to? 200,000 Bitcoin being in the hands of a small group of actors who are regulated. They have the exact same power as Circle now with Bitcoin. And you have all the Team Orange running around saying, well, no, they don't. The miners are in control. Okay, well, let's go do the experiment. You fork and you have Bitcoin chain A and Bitcoin chain B. And the ETFs say, we support chain B. So what do? They take whatever assets they have that have just been replicated in chain A and they sell all of it. What does that do to the price of chain A? It goes into free fall. And you know what happens is the miners, they say, well, same hash power, but if I mine A, I get 25, 50, 60% less than if I mine B. I'm just going to move over to B. Hash power falls. The dominant chain is chain B. As more of these legacy actors come in, they'll acquire more and more of the supply. They already have a fifth of what Satoshi has. Remember the panic scenario in Team B? Team Orange keeps saying, well, what if Satoshi comes back and sells all of his coins? Well, you have just invited in some of the richest, most powerful multinational globalist organizations to own 200,000 of your coins. And you've...
It's all a facade. I told y'all. The Bitcoiners, every time they come after Cardano and they come after altcoins, it's very hypocritical at some point. They're calling out for first principles and all this other stuff, but at the same time, you're inviting the BlackRocks of this world. And all they've been doing is just accumulating all of your coins. What's going to happen if they get hold of it? Look, listen, MicroStrategy was one of the largest holders. They're getting close to MicroStrategy. I think they got 173,000 BTC already. BlackRock themselves, If the Bitcoiners are encouraging that, I mean, come on now. It's only a matter of time before BlackRock owns all the Bitcoin. That's why if you're an altcoin guy, I'm not playing with Bitcoin next cycle. I'm staying with the Cardanos of this world because I know for the next few years, infrastructure is going to be development. Everything is they're going to keep on building and building and building. And you're better off investing in Cardano, no financial advice, and see where that goes for the next 5 years rather than BTC trying to buy it at these high prices and then fighting with the BlackRocks of this world in terms of pumping the coin and going, hey, it's a mission. But hey, we never know. It's the market.
Done it. Happy, 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 joy, joy. Every day. You're fired up about it. Why? Because number go up. Then you look at the centralized exchanges. They get to decide list A, list B. You see the trend here? So hang on a second here. How many big exchanges do we have in crypto? The top 3 control the vast majority of our transactions and trade by dollar value. Small group of ETF holders, small group of centralized exchanges, 2 big asset-backed stablecoins, which constitute 70% of the value transfers. Sum that up, 10 legacy regulated institutions control the vast majority of your value flow and also get to decide the future of all of these projects. Why? Because if you go in a different direction, they won't list you, they won't give you a stable coin, and they'll dump your coin if you go in a different direction for a project that you love. You tell me, is crypto eating legacy or is legacy eating crypto? This is something cryptocurrency Reddit can't understand, because the only metric that matters is number go up, anything mentioning my name bad, and Cardano is a scam. Lo and behold, we're one of the few ecosystems that managed to stay a little bit out of the fray because we weren't a VC Ponzonomic coin.
100%. Cardano. Oh, I like it. It's one of the few coins that it wasn't VC backed. Nobody supported Cardano. Charles and team, they did it. You know, it's the people's coin. That's why people can never understand when they go to CoinMarketCap and they look at the top 10, Cardano is still here. You know, at one point, before smart contracts, this is the power of network effect. Before smart contracts, right, went live, before Gogan went live, throughout the entirety of a bull market, the biggest news for Cardano was a listing on Coinbase, and the people did it. Like, we went over to Coinbase and started flooding tweeting back and forth to Coinbase. List until Brian Armstrong and them went and decided to list Cardano. And that's the biggest news throughout that year in 2021. Imagine that in a bull market. And then we finally went up to like $2 per ADA. But even before that, Cardano was sitting at these levels, like 3rd largest crypto by market cap with no smart contracts. Think about the power of people and network effect. We held our chain down. We had no VC backing. Nobody gave Charles any billions, nothing. And he pulled it off. They did it just by marketing the coin, just by building great stuff and just putting it out there, and people ran it. And that's why, you know, it's good to navigate towards things like Cardano, man. Looking back, do you regret investing in Cardano? Because all of us came up, a lot of us. I always talk about it on this channel, and it kind of reminded us of first principles, number one. Number two, Cardano helped us stay away from investing in Celsius, Luna. I didn't care about none of that stuff. I didn't touch none of that. When they were running live, FTX, I didn't care. Just ADA. That's it. Because it was the people's coin. That's what, you know, resonated with the people. And that's what Charles is trying to fight. It's good to see guys like him still in the game that haven't sold out. And I think that's what he's trying to do. I know in my last video, I always talk about, the angle that I'm looking at is just volume. But at the same time, Charles has a point here. Like, we need to make a decision. Like, do you really want them guys in here? Because if you want USDC in here, money is going to come, volume is going to come. But at the same time, it's asset backed. And if there's an issue, they're going to pull all their liquidity out. And then that's it. Whereas your whole chain would tumble down. The price is going to take a nosedive. So you choose. But then Charles also mentioned algorithmic stablecoin. That's what he prefers. That's why I think he was helping DJed and whatnot. But if Cardano is going the algorithmic stablecoin route, then we need one in this upcoming bull market, an algorithmic stablecoin that can hopefully stay up, you know, and doesn't depeg like the UST Terra Luna thing did. Because the Redditors, they still gonna attack Charles. They thinking Luna every time he mentioned algorithmic stablecoin, because that's the largest algorithmic stablecoin at the time, and it went down. So rightfully so, people are gonna keep on attacking him, but he still believes that algorithmic stablecoin is much more decentralized, I think DAI is doing something to that nature, the stablecoin DAI. But besides DAI, I think USDT and all these other ones, USDC, they all asset backed, unfortunately.
We just organically grew. And for the most part, most of Wall Street has ignored us. For the most part, most of that legacy infrastructure hasn't paid too much attention, and we've had organic TVL and organic growth. Now, the community is starting to invite the vampires in. It's not my job to say it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's my job to go ahead and say I have concerns, and to let people know that when these people come in, they gain a lot of power and influence. They get to decide your level of transactional privacy, your custodial standards. What is a wallet? What are your listing criteria and the governance therein? What chains are legitimate? What chains are not? What consensus is legitimate? What consensus is not? Who gets liquidity and who doesn't get liquidity? Which jurisdictions? And dozens of other things. They get to decide all of that. And if they decide that you're not worthy, like Monero getting delisted with most modern exchanges, it's shit out of luck. Is that the revolution we signed up for? To have 10 companies come in and completely take over cryptocurrencies and basically run them and control them? I didn't sign up for that. I don't think a lot of people did. But if your only criteria is number go up, that's what you get. That's the reality. And if you attack and criticize the people who have this message, you have to really ask yourself, who the fuck are you? Why the hell are you here? I'm getting real tired of being called a charlatan. I'm getting real tired of being called a con man and incompetent. And I'm getting real tired every single day carrying the weight on the back of telling the truth about where we're going as an industry, whether it be.
This is why Nakamoto Crypto ain't no crypto founder, because I'm not taking that. Don't taking no insult. None of that. I'm not creating no coin, but I don't think I'll ever own one. I just stay on the side and do my little investments that's it. But these guys, man, the heat they take, especially Charles, man, people be ripping him apart. It's not cool to be watching and listening to that stuff, especially on X and stuff, reading all this nasty stuff about you, man. I don't know how they do it, but shout out to Charles. He's still holding his own, so yeah.
Be decentralization or the lack thereof, the consequences of the legacy financial industry coming in and what they do, and the idiocy of Team Orange and how everything but them is a scam, but then they hand their entire kingdom over to the very bankers that spawned Bitcoin from their malfeasance.
Hypocrisy of the highest order. Come on, Bitcoin, Max Kaiser. Yeah. You like attacking Charles, right? Shitcoin is this, that, Solana, shitcoin, Cardano, ADA, shitcoin. But y'all, you guys are handing yourselves over to the very people we ought to fight. You know what I'm saying? I think in a sense that's why I like Zen, because Zen is like the closest thing to Bitcoin besides all of this stuff. When you in Zen, you have that epiphany, you have that sudden realization that Zen haven't sold out to anybody. Like, come on, man. First principles.
We as an industry need to take a step back, take a deep breath, and really ask ourselves, why are we here? What's the point of these things? And are we as an industry, because of avarice, so prepared to hand away what makes the industry special, unique, and frankly, sustainable to the very people that we were trying to get away from because number go up? It's important that we understand that every decision has consequences, positive and negative. Every single approach has trade-offs. Nothing is free in life. And every single thing we do, we have to ask ourselves, does this move us closer to a more egalitarian, a more fair and transparent world? Or does this move us closer to the very people we started trying to run away from as an industry? Every time you hand your custody, decision, your voice, your hash power, your voting power to a centralized entity, you are restoring an order that we were trying to usurp. Every single time you create an actor who you have a dependency upon, you remove the promise of Web3. whether it be OpenSea or Infura or Alchemy or any of these services of convenience, whether it be being in an exchange to custody your coins and let them vote with it and stake with it, or it be embracing an asset-backed stablecoin over an algorithmic one, you're making a decision that it's okay to be centralized. And that's a personal choice. And that might be because you don't care about cryptocurrency philosophy. You have no desire at all about any of the values and principles that this entire industry was formed upon. Okay, that's a fair point. You can't be a libertarian and then judge people for having a difference of opinion. But do understand that the consequences are that these assets are now no different from the legacy assets we sought to replace. They're just basically a different flavor. Okay? You've replaced the cane sugar with high fructose corn syrup. You're going in the opposite direction. So
yeah, I think Richard Hart says this a lot too, like anything that's opposite to self-custody and is the exact opposite of what crypto was invented for. This is not what crypto was invented for. That's why Charles, I don't think he likes CBDCs and whatnot, because he always says that's the opposite of what crypto has been invented for. Now, all of that stuff is true, but crypto also has its own biggest problem. If we're going to let's all be decentralized and keep these big bad actors away, we haven't tackled the problem of mass adoption. I've been in crypto for many years and I've always heard this narrative come up, especially when we're leading up to a bull market. Yo, mass adoption. When mass adoption? When are we going to have 1 billion people just storming here? People, not banks, not governments, not people. 1 billion of them just coming in here and say, you know what? We're just going to buy ADA. We're just going to buy Bitcoin. We're just going to buy these other cryptocurrencies. We haven't seen that yet. At every cycle, it's these centralized exchanges that pump these coins and the little bit of retail that comes in and these large, unfortunately, Bitcoin whales. Every single cycle, 4-year cycle. This is the guys who pump it. So they control the market. They've been controlling it for years. The guys who scream decentralization, 90% of them are just little guys, you know? And the chains that are fighting for decentralization, unfortunately, they are ousted like Cardano. People hate on them. People don't like them. They don't like Charles. They want to get him out the way. And everything he's been preaching for so many years. Look, all these other chains that they liked, you know, these large YouTubers that were fighting Charles Hoskinson, if you remember years ago. Solana's better than Cardano, this and that. And their chain goes down every now and then. And the same YouTubers used to shill FTX. They tell you to go hand your crypto to, you know, the people that you're not supposed to hand it, give it to the middleman. And at the same time, they're fighting Cardano, who's trying to get you to do self-custody. You know what I'm saying? So you pick your battles, you pick your chains. Which one you going to be? You want to be on ADA chain, X1 road, decentralization, all this other stuff? But there's a price to pay for that. If you want to stay real, you can stay real. There's a price to pay for that, though. Other chains are going to have to boycott you and oust you and call you, hey man, your chain is empty, it's dry, because you don't like VCs, you don't like large money coming into you. So you choose now. Which one do you want? Which one, you know, it's people's choice. I think that's what Charles concluded here. But yeah, let's just leave it at that. This was an interesting talk. Check out the videos on Charles Hoskinson's channel. You can watch it all. This is really dope. But I like listening to Charles because he always gives us a different angle and a different perspective. He's right, man. 90% of us, especially crypto, it's not just those Redditors. 99% of crypto, we just want to see number go up. But that also comes at a price. You're going to have to hand your power over to someone else and just rely on them. And that's the opposite of why crypto was invented. Let's leave it at that. Like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.